Hello everyone. Today is Tuesday, June 13, 2023. There's only one trade I made today for $137.50. Very important, 50 cents. So it's only one trade, very short live. I was expecting this one to go a little bit farther beyond this little move here. I wanted to hit the other side of this channel right here, but it didn't. So let me go and explain you what I did and how I prepared my date for the trade on ES today. So basically on the overnight, you see that the market was moving sideways with a little bit of bias to the upside. Actually, you can argue that market is moving to the upside, but it's a little bit, from my point of view, a little bit overextended, but it could go much higher. That I understand that. Now it went. So I draw this area here of congestion or compression, and then there was obviously a bounce right here, all the way to the red area up there. There's a little bit of wick here. I'm using the 41020 Renko charts, so you can see that in here. So 41020 on the tick trend, open, offset, and tick reversal. So then the market started to move sideways, and then painted the 30 minutes opening range from this point over to that point up there, and it started to reverse. And then when it made this a week out of the moving average here, then I took the trade right when it crossed away from the opening range. And then I noticed that the market was struggling to go lower, so I just took the profit right here. I don't know if it was luck. I would say that I have learned that if it doesn't move in the direction I expected rapidly, then I would probably it's going to reverse. And it stayed a little bit here. There was another low right here that you can see there, and then it was struggling to go below that one, so I just sold it for $137. So that's all I did today, and I'm glad because it seems that it was a little bit choppy today, and it didn't move that well. I wanted to give you a little bonus today on how I see the market and how I face the market, and I have a presentation here that I'm gonna go over that I had in a different video, but the sound was really bad. So I'm gonna give it here, and probably I'm gonna make a separate video about this one now. So. Or later on. So this is what I have. So I titled this one "How to View a Trading Day." So this is what I am expected to see in the steps that I take for when I trade. So hopefully this one is good for you, and you can use it as a reference for your trading. So basically, the first thing I do is to try to identify the type of day and my bias. So if it's going to be a compression or it's going to be an expansion day. Expansion, you can go bullish, so going to the upside, or bearish. That means that the market is posed to go downwards. Most of the time, what I've noticed is that the market goes sideways. And then there are some areas of expansion or days of expansion that you can take advantage of. But it's important to recognize it before the day starts, at least to give you a bias. It doesn't mean that it's going to remain that way, especially if you have news, right? But the market trend it tends to be in the direction of the expansion of compression. Depends on what you see in the pre-market. So let's so that is the first thing I do. So based on this expansion and compression, then I do ad analysis. So basically, I identify areas of support and resistance levels in the in compression. So let's say that I identify the market is in compression. So what I do is to look at the support and resistance, and from there I make projections. So when you see that, let me go back to my. Can I do this? Yes. So you see in this area here, I identified, or my bias is that the market was going to have troubles going much higher or much lower than this. So I this was my area of compression here. It went a little bit down, but then recovered, and then went a little bit up in the pre-market, and then started to move to the upside. But then they have, a projection projection expansion for both sides. So I have here measure moves. You can tell them like that, when the market would be, from my point of view, overbought in this area or oversold in this area down here. So I would this area is a magnet. So I would expect that price would come back down and visit the middle part of the opposite side of this gray rectangle. So what you did today, right? I was expecting this one to go much lower, probably to there, but it didn't. It went only to the middle of it, and then came back and moved to the overbought area right there, and then came back to this area and moved up until it closed. Okay, so that is what I was referring to when I'm saying that I identify days, or the bias on the market, right? And the only thing that I use is the overnight. Sometimes I also look at the previous movement. So in this case, you would see what happened yesterday, and you could tell that, going into this area, the market was coming from below. So you expect that the move is going to be a little bit more bullish than bearish because of that. Okay, so that's that. So let's continue with this. So I do have analysis. So when I see expansion or compression, then I do have some setups, right? And then I identify those setups in this analysis that I make. So I identify support and resistance level in channels or in compression areas. Okay, and then within this context, what I do is to identify and find the setup, right? So if I'm, and I do have 4 setups for Renko. The first one is the breakout of compression, or a trend reversal breakout. So basically, those are breakouts that I take, and you can review those setups in my Discord channel or Discord server. Then we have week of the moving averages. So I use different moving averages: the 18, the 34, the 50. And the smooth 50, and also I do sometimes I take out of the weeks out of the VWAP as well, but I treat it a little bit different. VWAP is not really something that I normally trade. I try to see breakouts of compression or breakout with a touch, right, which is going to be a week out of a moving average or an area of compression. So this is something that I'm testing and trying now. This a break then revisit and touch against the area of compression that it's that the price or the candle is moving away from. Okay. Yeah, so but I go from identify what is the day, identify if it's compression or expansion, then add the analysis. So I can draw a compression area where it's going to go sideways, or I can draw a trend either to the upside or to the downside. Okay, so from here, from here, if market, I'm gonna put it green instead. So if from here you can see that market is going up and up in this direction, and then these are the areas where you want to buy, and if the parallels or if you're going right, if you're going to the downside, then if the market is doing something like that, you want to enter in these areas up here and targeting this lower side of the channel. This is not that parallel, but the idea was that these two green yellow lines would be parallel to each other, so you have a range or an expansion area with a channel, okay, or a descending channel. Okay, so this is the idea. Based on the setup needs to happen in a context of your analysis. If you're selling out of resistance. If you're buying out of support on this analysis before you find the setup. Okay. So you have here is what I was saying. So you have an area of expansion. The market is going up, or and that is bullish, and then you are looking for entries in the area of support, moving to the area of resistance. Okay, so the targets are up here and the stops are down below. Hopefully, if you enter very close to the channel here, your stops need to go below that support line. And then in here, you're not buying, right? You need to buy when you're closer to this channel. So remember to draw your channels all the time. And then in here, you're buying from here to there, and then you have more space. So you're buying down below in the setup that is going to be formed in this area right here. So you're looking for a week, or you're looking for there could be other areas of or other moving averages down below, or you're looking at a trend reversal breakout or something that it's showing you. If you have here a compression area, then you want to take the break out of that all the way to the other side of the channel, and then the market is going to come back and then come back to the support, and then this is another opportunity that you're going to have to enter it again. Okay, so that would be bullish, and the same thing would be for bearish thing, explained in a different way, right? You don't want to take those entries against in compression on this area here. You want to take moving down to the downside. Okay, so you want to identify those areas here, put the stops up above, and then move bearish to the downside. Okay, and I explained already the sideways. Let me see. Probably I do have another example, but it's basically what I explained before. So you have to identify the area of the setup in the area of support or resistance. Support in this here. So you identify the setup, and then the profit will be take at resistance right here. So you have to let it go a little. You have to let it go to the target. If it returns here, you can exit the trade earlier, but most likely the market is going to reward you if you wait a little bit for the resistance to happen. What could happen is that you could have other resistance areas from the left of the chart right here, right? So you could face an early resistance, and then you have to decide if you're going to sell it or not. Okay, so always look to the left for support or resistance areas. So final target should be on the other side of the channel. So this is even you can have a little bit of break. Then if you don't have a significant resistance area in the case of a bullish, then the market could run all the way to the other side of the chart. Okay. So compression, I explained it already. So you have that compression there, and you see that the market have a couple of touches on that resistance level there, and then the way I identified before the market open is with this box bars that are there. If I'm a little bit confused on how many touches there, because when I look for a resistance or support area, I'm looking for areas of touches, but sometimes it's not that clear. So what I do is to identify those in these boxes that are larger, and then I sometimes painted it there. It could be, you can argue also that the box could happen there as well. So up to you. I mean, there is this is valid as well. There are some touches there that may very well define the resistance or the support level in this case. Okay. So yeah, so that is what I had on this, and I hope I explained reasonably good enough how I see the market before the open, and how I sometimes, well, I stick to my initial analysis here. And then if the market moves away in here, I change my tone to bullish, right? When it crosses this area. But if it doesn't, most of the time what happens is that the market is going to visit this green area, and it's going to come back to the gray zone. Same thing here. It's going to visit this area, and it's going to come back to this zone right here. Okay, which is what happened today right here, and then today it wanted to come again and then moved up. So we'll see tomorrow if it's going to keep moving up or not. We'll see the overnight action. So not that many, really no trades I took today. I think that this one was, out of experience, I think that it was a good trade. Let me show you also the Renko 2510. That is the size of this Renko here. Yeah, 2510 on the tick trend tool. And then from in here, you see it's a little bit more noisy, but it shows it shows better the entry right there. Even though I was looking at the lower time frame, the entry was there, but I used the large bar for this trade. And you see from here, I would say, from here in this pivot, if you project this one to the downside, you will see that in this case, there's some good resistance at this area, and that's why I sold it, right? The run was already not happening, and it was wiggling around this area, and I decided, okay, you know what, I'm gonna exit it at this level and secure $140, and that would be it. And then you see that in here, that is the support area, and it was kind of like a double bottom right there, right? So you see that there is, in the overnight, there is a kind of double bottom there, which makes it a little bit more more tough to go through. And then the other thing is that I was taking a counter trend, and that is actually a big part of my decision. I knew that it was going. So you see, weeks in the upside, weeks to the downside. So not really very clean. And I was thinking, okay, if I take this one, probably this one is going to be short lived. So when it started to show a little bit of support here, and it didn't go through, I just sold it, and that was all. All right, so I hope you like the video, and hopefully it's instructive as well. So the main concept is, if you're in a channel, or you're in a compression market, your bias is sideways, sell at resistance and buy at support in these areas here. And then if you think that that the market is trending, so go and let me show you here. So market was trending here on the Renko yesterday. And then you buy at support here. Support, I consider it the moving averages. So that's why I put the weeks out of the moving average. And then you sell at resistance. And in this case, you have some resistance up here, and then some support down below here. Okay. So this one was a very nice run. So same thing here when it's moving. Well, this one is overnight, but when it's moving there, you have the resistance there and the support there. So that's the way that you have to face it. Okay. All right. Thank you so much for watching, and see you next time.